Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Now dim your light, let the room grow softer, and focus only on my voice. Tonight, I want to take you somewhere far away, into a story where you are not just a listener, but a traveler, a dreamer, a part of it. There was once a boy named Aarav, who lived in a small mountain village where the night sky stretched endlessly, sprinkled with stars like diamonds scattered across black silk. The village was poor, the houses simple, and most people lived their days in the rhythm of farming and survival. But Aarav was different. He had a heart full of wonder. While other children chased goats or played in the fields, Aarav would sit on the highest rock looking at the stars. He would whisper to them, asking questions no one else cared about. Why do you shine? Do you watch over us? Can I ever reach you? The stars never answered, but Aarav always felt that if he listened closely enough, he might one day hear their secrets. Aarav's family didn't understand his fascination. His father was a farmer, hardened by years of labor, and believed that dreams were luxuries they couldn't afford. His mother, though kind, was always busy tending to the household, but Aarav's treasure was a box of broken crayons and a few sheets of rough paper. He would draw the sky again and again, not as it was, but as he imagined it could be. Stars that danced, moons that smiled, galaxies that swirled like paintings. His drawings were filled with colors the villagers had never seen, shapes that looked impossible, but somehow magical. The children laughed at him. Why do you waste your time drawing stars? You can't eat them, you can't sell them. His father shook his head. You'll never make a living dreaming of the sky. And yet every night Aarav climbed to his favorite spot, staring at the universe above, with crayons in his pocket, believing that someday the stars would mean something more. One cold winter evening, when the wind howled through the mountains, an old traveler came to the village. His clothes were worn, his beard long, but his eyes sparkled as if they had seen the whole world. He carried a heavy bag filled with canvases and paints. The villagers gathered around him, offering food and shelter, curious about this stranger. That night the traveler noticed Aarav sitting alone on his rock, scribbling with his crayons under the dim glow of the moon. "What are you drawing, boy?" he asked gently. Aarav hesitated, then showed him the rough paper. It was a sky, but not the one above. It was brighter, alive with colors, with stars painted in reds, blues, and greens, galaxies spinning like firewheels. The traveler studied it for a long moment, then smiled. "You see the world not as it is, but as it could be. That is the gift of an artist." Aarav's heart raced. No one had ever spoken to him like that before. "But I have nothing," Aarav whispered. "No proper paper, no paints, no brushes, only these broken crayons." The traveler placed his heavy bag beside the boy. "Sometimes," he said, "all an artist needs is belief. The tools are only an extension of your vision. Come, let me show you something." That night, under the vast, quiet sky, the traveler taught Aarav how to mix colors, how to use strokes to bring light into darkness, how to paint not just stars but feelings. Aarav's fingers trembled as he touched real paint for the first time. The canvas glowed with shades of blue, gold, and violet. For the first time in his life, Aarav felt the stars answering him, not with words, but with color. When the painting was finished, it looked as if the stars themselves had descended onto the canvas. The villagers, who came to peek at the boy's strange obsession, were stunned. They had never seen anything so beautiful. The old traveler leaned close and whispered, "You have a gift that can light up even the darkest night. Never let anyone convince you otherwise." The next morning, the traveler left, disappearing into the winding roads of the mountains. But he left behind a small box of paints and 2 brushes for Aarav. From that day forward, Aarav painted every night. He painted when the stars were bright, and even when the clouds covered the sky. He painted dreams, hopes, and the universe as he imagined it. His small hut filled with colors so vibrant that villagers began to visit, not to mock him, but to marvel. Slowly they began to see what Aarav saw, that the stars weren't just faraway lights, but reminders of hope, possibility, and wonder. But not everyone was pleased. Aarav's father grew worried. "Painting won't feed us," he said sternly. "It won't bring firewood in the winter. You're wasting your time." Aarav lowered his eyes, but deep inside, he knew the truth. The stars had chosen him for something greater, though he couldn't yet explain it. One night, as he stood on his rock, paintbrush in hand, Aarav whispered to the sky, "If my dream is real, if my art means something, send me a sign." And just then a star shot across the heavens, blazing a trail of silver fire. Aarav gasped. His heart told him, "This is only the beginning." The night after the shooting star, Aarav felt a fire in his chest. He couldn't sleep. With trembling hands, he began painting what he had just seen, the trail of silver light tearing through the darkness. His brush danced across the canvas, faster and faster, until the comet glowed on the fabric like it was still alive. The villagers saw the painting the next morning, and whispers spread. Some said the boy had magic in his hands. Others believed he had been touched by the heavens. His father still frowned, but even he couldn't deny the way people looked at Aarav now, not with laughter, but with awe. Weeks passed, and Aarav painted more. The sky was his classroom, the stars his teachers. He painted galaxies that spiraled like giant seashells, moons bathed in gold, skies alive with colors no one had ever imagined. His hut turned into a gallery of dreams, and people from neighboring villages began to visit, curious about the boy who painted the stars. One evening, a merchant from the city stopped by. He was traveling through the mountains when he heard of Aarav's gift. Stepping into the hut, the merchant froze, eyes wide at the paintings that glowed like living skies. "Boy," the merchant said slowly, "these are not just drawings. They are windows into the universe. The world beyond these mountains must see them." Aarav's father, skeptical yet desperate for a better life, agreed to let the merchant take a few of the paintings to the city. Aarav was nervous but hopeful. Days later, when the merchant returned, he carried something the boy had never seen before. Money, more than Aarav's family had ever owned. His paintings had sold, and people wanted more. Suddenly, the boy who once sat alone on a rock became the pride of the village. His father, though still quiet, looked at him differently now, with the faint glow of respect. His mother's eyes sparkled with pride, and even the children who had once mocked him now ran to watch him paint. But for Aarav, it was never about money nor fame. Each night when the village was asleep, he still climbed his rock, whispering to the stars. His greatest joy was knowing that through his art he could bring the beauty of the skies down to those who could not see them as he did. Years passed. Aarav grew, and so did his gift. His paintings traveled far beyond the mountains, reaching cities and towns where people marveled at the boy who turned the universe into colors. Some called him the dreamer of stars, others called him the painter of hope. But Aarav always smiled humbly and said the same thing, "I don't paint stars. I paint what they whisper to me." And here's the truth. Aarav's life was not always easy. There were times when he doubted himself, times when he wondered if he was foolish to believe in dreams. But every time he looked up at the night sky, the stars reminded him, "Dreamers keep the world alive." The boy who once had nothing but broken crayons became a man who gave light to countless souls. His story became a reminder to everyone who heard it, that sometimes the smallest dreams, nurtured with love and belief, can paint the biggest skies. Now, as you lie here in your bed, close to sleep, let Aarav's story sink in. Maybe you too have a dream others don't understand. Maybe people have told you it's impossible, silly, or a waste of time. But remember Aarav. Remember the boy who painted the stars. Dreams may start small with broken crayons and scraps of paper, but if you believe, if you keep painting your stars, the universe itself will one day whisper back to you. And now, before you drift off, here's something for you. If this story touched you tonight, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because who knows, maybe they too are waiting for a sign to chase their stars.